All right. Sorry you can't see anything. Anything that I feel like you need to know. Those of you who've used Blackboard, have you noticed that files that are on Blackboard, you have to go to the three dots on the right-hand side and click on there and say upload the file. That's the one thing that's more awkward about the new version than the old version. Usually you just click and it opens. Now you have to upload. So I'm going to open the syllabus now, and if any of you are following and want to follow the syllabus, you can. If you need help getting on, I'll help as well as I can, but I bet you your classmates will be a better help than I will, because I've never gone on the student side. I only see the instructor side. Okay. There it is. It's having a hard time opening. I don't know if yours is, but mine is really, really slow. It says open when done. I don't know what it was doing. Here we go. Now, word process, PowerPoint is slow. Any Word package is slow, and it's trying to open Microsoft Word now, and Blackboard makes it even slower. So I'm sitting here watching the dots move across the screen. About half the time they hang up, and then I have to jiggle it some way to make it work. And hopefully it will work one of these days. And still the dots are going across the screen. Now they've hung up. And let me try to get them unhung. Usually I go to the task manager, and that sometimes will do it. Well, I don't see it's doing much. There we go. Oops. Nope. Here we go. It's open. Now, I know you can't see this unless you got your phones or computer or something on. Some of you are following this? Okay. Now, I also have an old computer who is really flaky when it comes to its power cord. So sometimes it powers off and the battery's real weak. Okay, this is Physics 112. Now I'm teaching 3 112 courses this term. Math 112, Physical Science 112, and Physics 112. So if I say them wrong, that's why. The title of it is Principles of Physics. It's the only physics course that we offer that doesn't have a lab with it. It's only a 2-hour course. Most of the physics courses are 4-hour courses. But they have this one specifically designed for DMS students, that diagnostic medical sonography. I hope all of you are in that major. Are you? Anyone who's not diagnostic medical sonography? Okay, because the odds are this will not count for you if you're not that major. Can I get your name, please? Savannah. Okay, I remember that. All right, there you are. Is that what you go by? Yes, sir. Okay. There you are. Welcome to class. Okay. Slowly getting most of the folks here. Okay. You can't see the projection because they didn't leave a cord. All the nursing faculty bailed out before 4:30 and did not leave me a cord. And I teach until 3:45 on the Bessemer campus, so I got here as soon as I can, but most of the time they're here. They're not now. We've called police. They're supposed to come and open the office for me, but I haven't seen them yet. You didn't see when you were coming in. Okay. All right, so it's just a 2-credit-hour course. We meet on Wednesday afternoon, just like you are here now, from 4:30 to 6:30. Okay. By the way, while I'm talking this way, I'm recording it. And it's recording what is on my screen and what I'm saying, so you'll be able to go back and see and hear if you're interested in doing so, what we're doing. So we're here only Wednesday, 4:30 to 6:30. Birmingham East Campus, K103. My name is Charles Fowler. I guess most of you knew that coming in. Now, Monday through Thursday, I'm on the Bessemer campus most of the time, except Wednesday afternoon. And my office number there is the A building, A265. My phone there is 929-3449. Now, let me tell you this about my phone. As you'll see a little bit later, I'll tell you a little bit later, I'm in classroom way more than I'm in my office. And the classroom's nowhere close to the office. So therefore, if you call while I'm in the class, I'll never hear it. And here's the bad news. The voicemail is very unreliable. Sometimes it'll say there is no voicemail. Sometimes it'll say the mailbox is full. Sometimes you may record, but I'll never get it. I don't know. I mean, it's a mess. So don't leave me a message, okay? Call during office hours. I'm going to go over those office hours right now in just a couple minutes. Only call during office hours. If I don't answer, call back a few minutes later within office hours. Okay. My number there on the Bessemer campus, 929-3449. Now, all of you realize nowadays we have to do the 205 first, right? Now, sometimes I forget. Sometimes it goes through. Most of the time, it won't let me go through. Okay. My email address is cfowler. I don't even know if they got a marker in here that works. Let's see if they do. That one works really well. Can y'all read that? cfowler at lawsonstate.edu. Okay. Now, most of the employees of the college, that's our email. First initial, C for Charles, last name Fowler, at lawsonstate.edu. Pretty simple for most of us. There are a few employees of the college, like Williams and some of those others, have common last names and the same first initial. So some of those will be like an S.D. Williams rather than S. Williams, or something like that. But most of us are first initial last name at lawsonstate.edu. Now, on Friday mornings, I'm on the Birmingham West campus. That's across there. You know that quad of buildings over there? There's the A building, then the B building, C building, and then the library building, D building. In the B building, the end of the building that's toward the gym, the tennis courts, and the baseball field, B122. It's Dr. Carl Pruitt's office suite. When you go into it, his secretary's desk is right there in front. I'm in the room behind her. It's the copy room. That's where I am on Friday mornings from 8 to 12. Not this Friday, but most Friday mornings, 8 to 12. Okay. Now, I already see something I need to change. The number in that office is 929-6409. 929-6409. So let me put Monday through Thursday. Oops, that's not the good. Not bad, it's not good. Monday through Thursday. Well, that's not much better. 929-3449, and Friday 929-6409. Okay, lots of nines. Okay. So Friday morning 929-6409, and again, call during office hours. Office hours on Friday 8 to 12. Most of the time, I'm there before 8. Almost always, I'm there after 12, but not this Friday. We've got to go out of town this Friday, so I won't be there this Friday. That's day after tomorrow. So, here are my office hours. And like I said, I don't have many, but here they are. Mondays, 8 to 10. Okay? Then 3:45 till 6. Between 10 o'clock and 3:45, I'm in class almost constantly. I've got one 40-minute break, one 15-minute or 20-minute break, and that's about it. And then 3:45 to 6, I'm there as well. Now, Tuesday and Thursday, these are the same, Tuesday and Thursday. I'm just always in the office by 8, and I don't have a class till 8:30. So 8 to 8:30, Tuesday and Thursday. I don't have another break until 12:45 till 1:15. Okay, I've got 3 back-to-back-to-back classes from 8:30 until 12:45. Now, 12:45 to 1:15 is when I try to eat lunch. That's a 30-minute break, okay? So I try to eat lunch, but I bring my lunch, I eat in my office, you can call me then, okay? And that's it, because from 1:15 until 5:45, I have a physical science mini-term class. That mini-term is 2.5 hours of class, 2 hours of lab. So from 1:15 to 5:45, I'm not at all in the office, period. 5:45, I start shutting down the lab and that kind of stuff, go back to the office, pack up to go home. So you might catch me then, but that's after 5:45 until I'm able to leave. Now Wednesday's a lot like Monday, 8 to 10. However, the next best time is, and that's the one I forgot to write down here, 11:45 until 12:30. 11:45 till 12:30. That's my lunch 45-minute, because I'm in class between 10 and 11:40, and I'm in a class between 12:30 and 3:45. But I don't have that 3:45 to 6 because that's when I'm driving over here. So all I have time, leave my 3:45 class, rush down to the office, shut down things up there, rush to my office, pack up things for this class, and try to get over here by 4:30. So I have basically no office hours after that, so I give you my lunch hour for that. Thursdays, just like Tuesday, I just gave them to you. And then Fridays, most Fridays, 8 to 12 over on Birmingham West Campus. And the office number there is B122, I think I gave you. Now, here is the course description, and I know this is going to sound really exciting, okay, but don't sweat it much. You'll be able to see this when you get to Blackboard. It's right there on Blackboard. Also, when you do, I said I recorded this. I didn't finish that. Let me go on and finish that. I recorded this, and as soon as class is over, then I upload it to YouTube, okay? Now, that's going to take a couple of hours. And right now, it's still uploading 2 classes ago, so it will take a while. But sometime tomorrow morning, and I don't know when it's going to be, I will then move it to a playlist. And the playlist you can access through Blackboard. I'll show you, well, you'll be able to see how to do that when you're able to see this YouTube video. Okay, that's sort of circular, isn't it? So here's the course description. Now, I didn't make this up. No one did except the committee that decided to run this course for the DMS folks. Here's what they say. This course introduces the student to the basic principles of physics. That's why they named the course Principles of Physics, okay, with an emphasis on electricity and magnetism. Okay. The course is designed to provide the student with not only a basic knowledge of electricity and magnetism, but also an understanding of real-world applications. Okay? That's why the book is Applied Physics, Applications. Okay? To prepare the student to understand electricity and magnetism, additional topics include forces. Okay? Now, while we're here, I will go on and mention this, since you can't see it anyway. Chapter 5 in this book is forces. That's where we begin. Okay? Work, energy, power. Flip over one page in the table of contents. Work and energy, which includes the section on power. So the second chapter we cover is chapter 8. Okay? Sound. That is chapter 16. Wave, motion, and sound. There was one other. Oh, yeah. And the atomic nature of matter. And that's chapter 12, matter. Okay? So we're going to do chapter 5, force. Chapter 8, work and energy, which includes power. Chapter 12, matter. Chapter 16, wave, motion, and sound. Sonography, sound, yeah, that makes sense, okay? Now, topics in electricity and magnetism include electrical forces and fields. So chapter 17 is basic electricity, and we'll start with 17.3, which is Coulomb's law, which is electric forces. 17.4, electric fields. Okay, let me move on. Electric forces and field, currents. Okay, currents, similar to 17.5, simple circuits. Now, it doesn't say Ohm's law, but it's hard to do circuits without Ohm's law, so we do 17.6, which is Ohm's law. Then we do series circuits, parallel circuits, and compound circuits at 17.7, 17.8, and 17.9. Okay, so that covers your current electrical circuits. Then magnetic forces and fields. Chapter 18, Introduction to Magnetism, magnetic effects of current, 18.1 and 18.2, and then 18.7 is magnetic forces on moving charges. Okay, so 18.1, 18.2, and 18.7. Okay, that's magnetic forces and fields. And then it says capacitance, electromagnetic induction, and transformers. Okay, now actually transformers actually are back in chapter 17. They don't say it in the title, but it's there. But chapter 19, 19.3 is inductance, and 19.5 is capacitance. So that hits all of the topics that are in your course description, and that's what we cover here. Okay, now, there's a little bit of an issue here. On the syllabus, it says prerequisites as required by program. That's what they say. From what I understand, the nursing program, which oversees the diagnostic medical sonography, have decided that as required by program will be Math 100. Have all of you had Math 100? Okay, good. If you haven't, if you've had 098, you're still going to be okay, I think. But I don't know how you got in here because they made that a prerequisite. Okay, so hopefully all of you have it. Co-requisites, none. The textbook, you didn't see any police while you were out there, did you? Goodness, this is aggravating me. The textbook is this one. It's Applied Physics, 11th edition. Okay, written by Dale Ewan, Neil Schurter, and P. Eric Gunderson. Okay, it's a Pearson book. The only reason we're using it is that when we set up the program here, I think there was only one other program in the state. I can't remember if it was Bevel or Wallace Hansville or somewhere. They were the only ones that were teaching it, and we sort of modeled ours after theirs. And I said, well, what text do they use for physics? Because it's sort of hard to hit what you need in physics without getting too deep into math. And they said they use this book, so we use this book. And it does fit pretty well. Three things I think I don't like about the book. Students have told me it's very expensive. Sorry about that. They told me that's the book that we need to use. Secondly, the PowerPoints stink. Okay, they're really terrible. So about more than half the time, I'll be writing things on the screen. This is a tablet computer with an ionizing pen, and I'll be writing formulas, equations, definitions, working problems. I'll be doing that all on the screen. Okay, and what PowerPoints they have, which are really pathetic, I'll show those as well. I'll write on those screens as well. The third thing, their test bank stinks, okay? And I've picked out the most appropriate test questions, but believe me, I had to scrunch around to get them. So, three things I don't like about the book, but the physics, they're presented pretty well. It gives lots of examples, and we'll be working through those examples. So that's the text. Okay? So you're expected to bring the text to class and paper and pencil. We're going to be working problems. Physics is working problems. So we'll be working problems. So bring paper and pencil to class. Now, if you prefer ink, I'm okay with ink. Someone else wrote this, so I left it as they did it. Okay? Calculators are permitted and I would say encouraged in the class. Okay? Now, a lot of you, I'm guessing, may use your telephone for your calculator. Am I right? Or you have separate calculator? Say again? You have a calculator? That's good too. I don't care. Whatever you use as a calculator. Now, you need to know the syntax and how to operate it. What I'll do, I'll help look over whatever the face is of that and help you find the keys you need to know if you don't know how to do it. But I can't swear I'll know how to do all of them. Some of the Casios and others, it's a mystery how they do some things, but most of the time I can figure it out. Okay, so calculators are permitted. I would suggest bringing to class because we'll be solving problems. Now, the next little statement you've probably seen on every, yes? I don't know. Has anyone priced it?
Do you have the Cengage?
No, it's not Cengage. It's
I got it off Kindle.
Huh?
I got it off Kindle, Amazon Kindle.
Right. And, oh yeah, so you've got it on your, on Kindle. And there it is. There's the coverage. Looks just like mine, doesn't it? Okay? Okay? It's not Cengage, it's Pearson. That's the problem. So you can't use the Cengage Unlimited. Okay? However, renting the book is far cheaper than buying the book. But there are other sources out there, and the bookstore may have some used books, because I've taught this course every term for the last, I don't know, 5, 6 terms. So there may be some used ones out there. Okay, so it's not a bad price on Kindle, and I bet you some of the sites out there, I've heard students name them, but I don't remember what they are. I bet you could find some pretty good prices. You may even be able to rent them through our bookstore relatively cheaply. I don't know. What is that? $50. Okay, that's fairly close. Yeah, fairly close to what Kindle is. So there are ways to get it relatively cheaply. Okay. If you find a student who had it in the last couple of terms, they may either loan you your book or sell you your book, but it's pretty good. I'm guessing most of them aren't hanging on to the books. Okay, yes. It doesn't matter to me. The ones I've operated mostly in my life have been TI or TI knockoffs, Texas Instrument. I know those a little bit better than the others, but most of them are equivalent. And the one on your phone is perfectly fine for you to use if you know how to use that. I can help with that. Ever since I've gotten a smartphone, I've hardly used a calculator except for average and grades. Yeah.
So you don't need a fancy calculator?
What's that?
You don't need a fancy calculator?
No, definitely not.
Function?
Definitely not. You don't need. Now, what you do need is scientific notation. EE or EXP. Just about all scientific calculators will have that. Okay, so the little cheapies that are freebies almost, that probably will, you're going to have to do a lot more work to get your answers with that. But if you have a scientific calculator equivalent to it, you'll be fine. All right. Now, what I was saying, most of you, if you've been here before, you've seen this thing on Blackboard. I really don't like the way they put this. It's just a little blurb, but they won't let us change it. Okay? All courses must use Blackboard to gain access to vital course information, such as the syllabus, handout, blah, blah, blah. Okay? Well, guess what? A course doesn't gain access, the students gain access. Okay? So that's just a little nitpicky thing. But all the courses must use Blackboard. But it really sounds harsh. It says gain vital course information, such as the syllabus. Yep, the syllabus is out there right now. So you can, on Blackboard. Okay? Now, I'm going to make, I've seen at least one change. And let me go back up and look and see if I corrected the second part. But see, Wednesday, I'm going to add another office hour on Wednesday. Okay. Okay. The syllabus is out there, and the YouTube video will be out there sometime tomorrow, and you can see the syllabus on that too, because would be projecting it, but it is recording it. Okay? I've lost it. Here it is. Okay? The syllabus handouts. Now, most of the time, if I have a handout, I'm going to hand it out to you. I don't want to put it on Blackboard. So I'll bring and hand out anything that you might need. PowerPoint shows. They're out there. Remember, they're pathetic, but they're out there. They're out there on Blackboard right now, and I'm beginning to think I need to call police again, because they sure haven't shown up. Can I bum a phone? Let me finish this on Blackboard. Activities. The school may post activities on Blackboard. I assume they might. I'm not going to put any that I can think of now. Announcements. Let me see. Am I on the right place? Yeah. Announcements. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Activities. Assignments. Okay? I'm not going to type them out or post them that way, but if you listen to the YouTube videos, that's where I'm going to give the assignments. At the end of every section, I'll give you some of the homework options for homework exercises. Because at the end of every section, there are problems or exercises, much like the examples we did in that section. So I'll be announcing which ones I suggest you use, review, and so that will be on Blackboard, but it'll be through the YouTube video. I don't type them out. Okay? I'm too lazy for that, I guess. Okay, announcements. I don't think we'll be having any announcements. The school may make announcements and put them on Blackboard. I just can't think of many that you'll need. But then this next statement, to me, is just way extreme. Failure to use Blackboard will severely damage your ability to pass the course. Huh? Okay. Now, some instructors may teach the course through Blackboard, and you can't do it without it. I don't. I teach. I'm a dinosaur. I teach the old way. We do it in class. I have the stuff out there on Blackboard, but most of it's in class. If I were allowed to rewrite that sentence, I would say the proper use of Blackboard could greatly enhance your ability to do well in the course. I think that's far closer to reality, and it's a lot less harsh. Okay, it's a lot kinder. Okay. Students should I don't like this sentence either. Students should always check the Blackboard announcement page and task pages prior to coming to class. Why would you think they'd say that? In case I cancel class. Madison, you have been in my class before, right? How many classes did I cancel? Huh? I had to cancel one because I had a doctor's appointment, I think. That's it. I don't have any doctor's appointment on Wednesday 4:30 to 6:30. So I'm planning not to cancel a class. So I sort of object to even that sentence, but that's what it is. You can still check to your heart's content. I ain't going to do it. Okay. Now, if something emergency happens, I'm probably not going to have time to put it on Blackboard. So, but I'll let you know anything that's coming up. And let me tell you this one right now. There may be a class we'll miss because last week I turned 69, meaning next year at this time I will be 70. And to me, that's old enough to say bye. Okay? I'll be retiring next January. Okay? Now, in the teacher retirement system, they want you to go to a seminar before you retire. So you can find out how to do all this stuff to be ready to retire. Make sure all the paperwork's done. Well, I signed up for a March 4th or 5th, I think it is. You had to put 2 dates in. So I signed up for one of those 2 dates. Well, I signed up for both dates in there. They are going to assign me one of those dates. One of them's a Wednesday, one of them's a Thursday. Okay? If they assign me the Thursday, we won't miss a class. But if they assign me a Wednesday, I'll rush to get back from Tuscaloosa, but I can't guarantee. I don't know how long it'll go. If they send me and say, you're going to be through by 4:30, if I can be here, no, I can't be here by 4:30, okay, not from Tuscaloosa, but if they say you'll be through by 3, I might be able to make it. I doubt if they'll be done that early, but we will work out what to do about that, okay? Now, so I do know I might miss one class, okay. Professional competencies and objectives. And again, you can't see these and it's way too much to write on the board. Students will solve problems dealing with forces. Guess what? Chapter 5, students will solve problems dealing with work and energy and power. Chapter 8, students will demonstrate an understanding of the atomic nature of matter. Chapter 12, students will demonstrate an understanding of sound. Chapter 16, students will demonstrate an understanding of electrical forces and fields. Chapter 17, okay? Students will demonstrate an understanding of magnetic forces and fields. Number 8, and that's chapter 18, students will demonstrate an understanding of capacitance, electromagnetic induction, and transformers. That will be chapter 19, but transformer is back in chapter 16, I think, if I'm remembering it correctly. Okay, so what are your competencies? After each chapter, we'll have a test, okay? Except that chapter 18 and 19. Chapter 18 is just 2 sections, and chapter 19 is, or 2 or 3 sections. Chapter 19 is just 2 sections. So we'll combine those 2 for your last test, okay? Tests will be given at the end of each unit of study, that is chapters or combination of chapters. The lowest test score may be dropped, okay, if it helps your average. I can't see how it wouldn't, but okay. The average of the remaining tests will determine the grade for the course. Now, the one exception to that is the last test cannot be dropped, because that's the one on 18 and 19, and because that physics builds on itself. So that's the last one. That's what we use to measure your overall competency of the course, of what you've learned. So the last test cannot be dropped. So don't come and say, hey, I made an A on all my tests. Do I have to take the final? You know the answer? Yes. Okay? Because it can't be dropped. The next lowest ones can be. All right. Students will receive A's, B's, C's, D's, F's, whatever. Let's not go to the last 2. 90s are A's, 80s are B's, 70s are C's. Don't go any lower than that. Okay? Now, I don't know who did this. I have a real good suspicion of who did it. They put this next sentence in there, or a couple of sentences that don't make any sense. So I changed them. I wasn't supposed to, but I had to change them. Here's what was originally written. The instructor rounds grades, the instructor always rounds grades up, never down. That's her first sentence. Then, I think it was what she said, for example, a 79.5% will be rounded to an 80% a B. Yeah, that makes sense. But a 79.4% would remain a C. I said, well, wait a minute, you just said always rounds up, never down. That's rounding down, okay? So, but that's not normal. So in order to make the 2 sentences match, I just said the first sentence, the instructor rounds grades normally. A 0.5 butts up, a 0.4 or less drops, okay? Now, most of you will not be in a situation where that's going to make that big a difference, okay? If you are, if there's any way I can go back and regrade something so it makes it there, I'm going to do it. So don't sweat that. But I couldn't write those 2 sentences that were contradictory each other. Now, attendance, absences. Please try to be here every night. Few people are not here tonight. If they had to have a night to miss, maybe this was a good one since I can't project anyway. But even though I'm recording the classes, you can see everything, see and hear everything we do in class. Try asking a YouTube video a question. Not going to get an answer. So try to be here every night, and that way if we finish a chapter and I give a test, you can get the test that night. Okay? Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that, did we? You have a choice here. Do you prefer in-class tests or take-home tests? Really? Boy, what a shock. I never saw that coming. Okay. I figured that, and I prefer that too. Because some, like I said, these test bank is pretty poor, and some of these questions you really have to do some deciphering on. So okay, let me back up and say something. My philosophy of teaching, especially math, which I usually teach, and physics or physical science, which I also teach, it's not memorization. That's not what I expect you to do, is memorize facts. if you are working for me, we had a business and we had a project, and I would say, here, work out this issue on this project. I don't want you to, oh, okay, I remember what the formula is for that. No, I want you to look it up and make sure you've got the right formula. And then I want you to put it together and come up with a solution. That, to me, is learning. That's physics, that's math, that's physical science. So so your questions, your test questions, are just like your homework, solving problems. Just like the course objective, solving problems. Okay? Because that's what you'll be doing in the diagnostic medical sonography, solving issues. Okay? Interpreting issues. Okay? Showing an understanding of that. So, I'd rather you have your books, have whatever resources you need, so you can look up what you need to, and then solve the problems. That, to me, is what the course is all about. Now, maybe some people disagree with that, but that's how I teach. I'm only going to be here one more year. Yeah, yes.
So homework's optional or you get credit?
Homework is completely up to you. I will tell you what exercises I think would be beneficial, so when you do get the test, you'll be ready for the test. Otherwise, you have to probably go back and do most of those that, when I give you the test, oh, I don't remember how to do that, and you have to go back and do them. I suggest do the homework as you do. But look, y'all are adults, you choose, okay? You can do it however you want to, okay? Good question, though. All right, so try to be here, because when you're here, we can interact. If there's something you're not understanding, I can try to help with that. I can repeat things. Now, take-home tests. They will be due 2 weeks after I pass them out, with one exception, the final. Final is going to be 1 week, okay, because we don't have 2 weeks at the end. And the reason I do that, it gives you an opportunity to slug through it, try to do it. If you can't understand something, come back the next week and ask. Okay, now, here's a question I will answer, but not to your satisfaction. Can you do problem 7? My answer will be yes, I can, but I'm not going to. Okay? What I will answer, if you find a problem in the book, if you've done your homework exercises, you know there's one like that in the book, anything in the book, I'll do. Okay? So, can you do number 15 on blah, blah, blah? Because that's like this question here. Sure, I'll do whatever's in the book. So that's why I give you 2 weeks. So if you do get stumped on something, you can come and ask. Or if it's just conceptual, what are you asking here? What does this mean? Then we can hash that out, and you still have a week to work on the test. If we only met twice a week, that would give a little more option there. But meeting once a week, that makes it tough. All right, so try to be here every day. Okay? Now, let's go back up to that concept. Remember I said try to stay in the A's, B's, and C's. The reason I say that, now, I don't know how they put together the DMS program. Are you required to make a C in this course? You are? That's not at all surprising. So therefore, a D is gone. You're going to have to repeat the course if you stay in the program. Okay? A D will not transfer to any other school that may have this program. Okay? And I'm hoping a D would hurt your grade point average. What do I mean by that? If your grade point average is below a 1.0, then a D will help you a little bit, but not much. So hopefully you have grade point averages above 1, so therefore a D is going to hurt you. And F is definitely going to hurt. You're going to have to repeat that one. Also, don't want to go there. That's guaranteed to hurt your grade point average. Okay? Now, if it looks like getting near the end of the term, you're hopelessly behind, you don't see any way you're going to pass the course, far better option than getting a D or an F is withdrawal. Okay? Because a W does not hurt your grade point average. Now you might say, but that might affect my financial aid. Well, guess what? A D or an F is going to affect your financial aid just as much as a withdrawal does. Okay? Because most financial aid programs will allow you to retake a class once. They'll pay for it the second time. They won't pay for it the third time. That's whether you made a D the first time, whether you made an F the first time, or whether you withdrew. Not going to matter to them. Okay? But what does matter, your grade point average suffers if it's a D or F. So that's just what I wanted. So wanted to say that about withdrawals. Okay? Now, I'm going to get to the academic calendar a little bit later. Maybe. Oh, I was going to take a break here. Can I use the phone again? I left mine in my vehicle because I don't like mine going off a lot easier. See if I can find it. And nobody has the campus police number. But I did ask that before, didn't I? Y'all ought to have it on speed out. Okay. No, not sorry about that. Oh, there it is. No, hey, Dr. Pruitt, Charles Fowler, police still haven't shown up over here. I know, I've been teaching that long. Yeah, they haven't shown up. Yeah. What? Oh man, could you call them again? I don't have a number for them here. And I'm using a student phone number. Phone. Yeah, or give me the number. Okay. Yeah. Okay, 925-3587. And that is Birmingham campus, right? Okay, great. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. You all want to what about me? Duh! All right. I think I have to dial 205-925-3587. It's a conspiracy. No. Good police force. They put the phone on hold. Yeah. Hey, Katrina. Hello. Hello? Yes. My name is Charles Fowler. I'm teaching over in the Ethel Hall building on the East Campus. And nobody was here. I'm usually on the Western campus. I come over and teach a class here 4:30 to 6:30. And most nights they're here and they give me the projector cable so I can project my class. They were all gone today. Nobody's in the building except my class. And I need to get into the office. I know where the projector cable is, but I can't get in there. Can someone come unlock the door for me? Hello? 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 This is encouraging. Hello? 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 I need Lawson State Police. Is this Lawson State Police? They're hanging up on me. Really feel a lot safer. Not doing anything. Hello? Hello? It rings once and then it goes dead. Hello? Hello? Okay. I don't know what it's doing now, but every now and then, can you just call that number again if anyone picks up and it's speaking? Any of you can do that. Let's just bug them until they show up. So, I don't know. Sorry. Pardon me? Oh, you mean this is the rent-a-cop? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? Okay. Oh, I recorded that even. Okay. All right. All right. So let's move on. Yeah, I don't know. That really makes me feel safe. Okay. You did? Okay. I'm going to put this on pause then. All right, we're recording again. We talked about withdrawals, so in my mind, the best option, if you're getting hopelessly behind, you can't possibly get out, withdrawal, don't make a D or an F. Now, makeup work. That doesn't make a lot of sense if they're take-home tests, okay? I will say this. Try to get your test in within those 2 weeks, okay? Because, like I just said, physics builds on itself. If you're missing a concept in the fourth chapter, the odds are that's going to hurt you when you get to the energy chapter because it builds on itself. So if you get it in, I grade it, you can see what you missed. Oh, okay, you won't make that mistake again. So please get your work in within those 2 weeks if possible, okay? Lateness. I'm pushing it to get here at 4:30. I'll try to be here by 4:30. If I'm not, hang on, I'll get here. You can't get from the Bessemer campus to this campus without crossing several railroad tracks. Now, I found the way that eliminates the busiest ones, but I have been stopped before, so it may be, and y'all are in the same boat. So please get here as soon as you can, and we'll go from here. But I record everything, so if you miss something at the beginning, you'll be able to pick it up later. Now, have a huge section here on academic integrity. I'm not going to read all this. I'll just summarize it. Plagiarism. Summary. Don't do it. Okay? Cheating. Summary. Don't do it. Okay? Not going to do you any good in the DMS program if you need to know this material if you cheated to get through the class. It won't do you any good. You're going to fail those courses. And I sure don't want you sonographing me. Okay, no, I'm sorry. That was not the point. Okay, so you can read the whole thing here if you'd like. Please do. Professional decorum. Yeah, okay. Students are encouraged to conduct themselves. Now, this is absolutely true. Students are encouraged to conduct themselves as adult professionals in training. Avoid behaviors that are distracting or disrespectful to your classmates. Now, it says to the instructor, I'm so old and decrepit, You're not going to distract me much. I can't hear. You may have already noticed that. And, but please don't do anything that hurts your neighbor's chances to do well. Okay? The following behavior should be avoided during class meetings. Texting or unauthorized internet use or rapid use of the telephone. No, that wasn't on there. Okay, repeated use of the telephone. If you're doing something that's distracting somebody else, for instance, if you're looking at something that's going to make her not pay attention to the class, don't do it. Okay, you got the idea. Okay, sleeping or reclining or lounging and so forth. Well, don't snore. Okay, snoring is disruptive. It'll bother other people. Okay, speaking out of turn or speaking rudely or unkindly. I don't think any of you are going to do that. Okay, so don't do it. Unnecessary traffic in or out of the classroom. Hey, if you get an emergency phone call or just something that seems like one, you need to go out and take it. Take it, I don't want you missing something you need to be. There was a vehicle driving slowly. Maybe it's him. Okay. Eating or drinking. Well, this goes back to the sleeping thing. If you need caffeine, my wife says I'm Mr. Sandman when I'm talking. So she said all she has to do is ask a question. I start talking, she's asleep. So if you need some caffeine, I don't care if you do it. If you're starving because you just came from work, it's been 10 hours since you ate. If you need something to stay alert, I want you alert. Okay? However, if you make a mess, you clean up the mess. Okay? That's my only criterion there. Wearing inappropriate clothing. I don't like fatigue. No, I'm just kidding. Okay? I don't care what you wear as long as it's appropriate. I don't want you being disruptive to any other student. Okay? Are they here? Let me pause this. Got it. Okay. Up to now, it's what we expect of you. At this point, it's what you expect of us. You have the right, right here, to a healthy learning environment. That's what all this stuff was about, too. If you have a concern about the course or with me, let us know. Okay? First thing to do, come and speak with me directly, one-on-one. Or if you want a whole group of you to come in, I can handle it. Okay? That'll be fine. We'll attempt to resolve the matter. Now, if you find out that doesn't happen to your satisfaction, we'll go to the department chair. Oh, that's me. Okay, so no. Dr. Wilson will take you there, and we'll take care of it there. Third, we can go to the associate dean. That's Dr. Carl Pruitt. Remember, I'm in his office on Friday morning. He can chew me out, whatever. Okay? Then we can go to the dean. Then we can go to the vice president. We can go to the president. But start here. Hopefully we'll get everything worked out easily, simply at the lowest level. But if not, we'll go as far as it takes. Okay. Any questions on that? All right. Statement on discrimination and harassment. Now, I do one more thing here. And I think it's included bullying. Okay? Let me summarize. We don't want it happening. We don't expect it to happen, and we don't want it to happen. If it does happen, we want to know about it. Now, I've been here, I can figure it out, I can't remember how many years now, 23 or 24 years, something like that I've been teaching here. And so far, I have seen almost nothing that would fall into that category. Okay? But that doesn't mean it hasn't happened. It means they're just not stupid enough to do it in front of me. But if they were to, or since you may see it and I may not, let us know. If you see anything that could fall under discrimination, harassment, bullying, or anything like that, let us know. We want to nip it in the proverbial bud. We will give it fair hearing. We will deal with it fairly, due process, all like that. But we don't want it happening here at Lawson State. Now, this isn't even anywhere close to this, but it just is an illustration of what I mean by dealing with it. One of the early years when I was teaching at Western State Technical College, that's what the Western campus used to be, we have a great automotive program, and I was teaching automotive math. Now, a lot of those, not like you are mostly mature students here, but a lot of them were right out of high school, probably didn't even want to be in college, but just doing something that Daddy said you got to go to college, so they were, let me do an automotive program or something. But there's some really sharp students in that. But there was this one kid that wasn't doing particularly well in the automotive math course, But he was okay. Well, then he didn't show up one day. Now, most of the time they were there, and there every day. And I thought, well, maybe he's sick. And then the next day he wasn't there. I said, hey, where's us and stuff? He said, oh, you didn't hear? I said, hear what? Oh, one day at lunch he just decided to start walking across people's cars in the parking lot. And someone saw him, jerked him down, got him to the dean's office. Within a few minutes he was off campus, never to be seen again. That's what I mean. We'll deal with it, give a fair hearing, but we don't want discrimination, bullying, harassment happening here. That was stupidity, but same type deal. Okay? Now, any questions on that? Please let us know if you see it or sense it. Okay, Americans with Disabilities. As I've said, I'm hard of hearing, so I'm sort of sensitive to this kind of stuff. If you have any kind of a disability on the Bessemer campus, Dr. Renee Herndon is in charge of this. I know exactly where she lives there, and Ms. Janine McCoy-Jones on this campus. They will get your information and get to us what we need to do to make it so you have the best opportunity to learn, whatever kind of accommodation you need. Any questions on that? Okay. Here is the college calendar, and this is why I was referencing this earlier. Classes started last Thursday. Of course, tonight's the first night we've met. Next Monday, good news, bad news situation here. The bad news is there's no classes next Monday. It's Martin Luther King Day, holiday, state holiday. The good news is, it doesn't affect us any, we only meet on Wednesdays. All right, so we won't miss the class. Good, I knew you would be happy. Okay, but enjoy the holiday. I plan to. Okay. Friday the 31st is the last day to withdraw. Now, this isn't the withdrawal I was talking about before. This would be what if you found out your family's moving and you got to withdraw from school because you're moving to another state. Okay? That's what we mean by withdrawing from school completely. If you withdraw by Friday the 31st of January, you can get a partial refund. But that's a total withdrawal, not withdrawal from a class. Okay. Now, next date on here, Monday, March 9th. That's the week after midterm. And that's when I have to submit midterm progress report, which means anyone who has a D or an F at midterm, I have to report that. So they can be following up on that. Now, if I see someone's getting way behind, I'll probably do a report sooner so you can get tutoring or other help sooner. Okay? So that's midterm progress report. Now, here's the date I was talking about. The next week, in fact, Friday of that week, is your 60% completion date. Now, I may not have said anything, but I meant to. If you're on any type of federal financial assistance and you withdraw before this date, you owe the money back. Whatever Pell Grant paid for or anything else, you owe it back. If you withdraw after this date, March the 13th, there's no payback. They don't expect payback. Okay? So, if you feel like you're going to have to withdraw from the course, now not a total withdrawal, that's a different issue. But if you're needing to withdraw from this course, if you can wait till Friday the 13th of March, Friday the 13th, okay, but before Monday, April the 20th. That's your window, best time to withdraw. Now, if you're paying out of pocket, it doesn't matter when you withdraw. It's only if you're on federal financial assistance. You need to keep that in mind. You need to do it after the completion, the 60% completion date, but before Monday, the 20th of April. Just a little over a week away is the last day of class. In fact, right around a week away. So final examinations are the week of April 30th. And then I'll have your grades reported by the 7th. And are any of you graduating this term? Usually not, because you have to have this before you even start your DMS program. All right. Any questions on the college calendar? Okay. Now, I've got one correction I saw I need to make. When I can make that, and it's just my office hours on Wednesdays, then I will let you know, and you can either print off this page, sign and date, or type in on this page and email it to me. Whatever you want, let you know that you understand everything in the syllabus. Are there any questions before we request that of you? All right, so now you get to see how Blackboard looks. I'm going to close out of here. Now, this is the syllabus. What used to be a tab, they don't do tabs anymore. Here's this blue box with the X in it. I'm going to X out of that, and we just did the syllabus. Now I'm going to show you my locator card. This is when I'm on campus, off campus, which campus I'm on, when I'm in class, out of class, that kind of stuff. Okay? So I'm going to click on this. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to click on. Okay. Now here's the place. It used to be if you click this, it came open. Not anymore. You have to go to the three dots here, click on that, and say download original file. And then you have to watch for it. Sometimes it pops up on the lower left corner like it did just then. Other times it opens like it just did here. If you don't click on it in time, then you have to click on it again. I mean, it's kind of weird. Okay, this is my week in review. Okay, this is spring 2020. Okay, my name's Charles Fowler. If you hadn't seen it before, there it is. My office phone, this phone is the Bessemer campus. This is the Birmingham campus. Fridays only, but not this Friday. Email address, there it is. Oh, I did mention that. Let me go back to the Friday phone number. Please don't leave me a message there. That's not even my office. I use that office on Friday because the grant coordinator is not there on Friday. It's her voicemail. So if you leave a voicemail there, I'll never hear it because it's not my phone. Okay, it's not my voicemail. The Monday through Thursday, this number, don't leave one there either because I can't guarantee I'll get it. There's a chance. No chance I'll ever get that one. Okay, my email address is there. Right now I'm behind in emails, but I'm going to try to catch up as the term moves on. First week of class is just horrendous. I'm the math department chair, and it's been awful. But anyway, we'll get over it. All right, I am in math, but also teach natural sciences. So here is my week in review. Okay. I'm on campus, Bessemer campus, 8 o'clock Monday through Thursday, Birmingham Friday, but not this Friday. And on Monday and Wednesday, I'm in my office from 8 until 10. Now, usually I'm there a little before 8, but at 10 o'clock, I have a Calculus 1 class. Okay? Then I have a short period for lunch, 11:45 until 12:30. My lunch, 45 minutes. And then I have a Cal 3 class that goes into the afternoon, a differential equation class, and that's the one that ends at 3:45. And then on Monday, I'm in the office from 3:45 to 6. So those are two big blocks of time you can catch me. 8 to 10, 3:45 to 6 on Monday. Tuesday and Thursday, not much time. I'm in my office from 8 to 8:30, unless there's been problems on the road or something like that. I'm there from 8 to 8:30. I have an 8:30 class, followed by a 10 o'clock class, followed by 11:30 class, and then I have 30 minutes for lunch, actually less than that, cram down what I can, but I'm in my office then. Then I have this physical science class. First mini-term is physical science 1, second mini-term physical science 2. Because it's a mini-term class, it meets for 2.5 hours, and then the lab meets for another 2 hours. So it's 4.5 hours from 1:15 until 5:45, not even in the office, nowhere close. So don't call them. And then I'm usually, after I shut down the lab and everything else, I'm off campus by 6. Usually I don't make 6, but I'll try to get there. So you can maybe catch me between 5:45 and 6. Not much chance, but there is some. Wednesday, a lot like Monday, 8 to 10, I'm in the office. Then in my Cal 1, lunch, Cal 2. But I bring my lunch, I eat in my office, you can call me then. There's no problem. Any of these lunch times. Okay? Cal 3, and then differential equation. But as soon as that's over with, I'm back in the office, swapping out, loading my book bag and stuff, and coming out here, driving to Birmingham East. Most of the time I can make it in half an hour. Sometimes I won't. And then we're here until 6:30. I'm off campus sometime after that. Okay, Thursday was the same as Tuesday. On Friday, most Fridays, not this Friday, Birmingham West Campus, Academic Building, B122. It's Dr. Carl Pruitt's office from 8 to 12. Now, I put a lunch in here, 11 to 12. I almost never bring a lunch on Friday. I bring a snack or something, but I'm in the office. but they require me to put a lunch day. That's the only day I can put an hour in there anyway. So anyway, that's my locator card. Any questions on that? Okay. So let me get out of this. And off of that, there's that blue X. It's a white X in a blue box. Here are the PowerPoint slides. Now, just want to point something out. You notice these two icons, they stand for documents. You click on that, you open the document through those three blocks. This is a folder, okay? So I'm going to scroll down. That's what that symbol stands for. And you notice the arrow over here? If you click on that, that opens all these PowerPoints. There's the Chapter 5 PowerPoints, Chapter 8, Chapter 12, Chapter 16, 17, 18, and 19. And if you look at them, you'll see they're pathetic, but we'll use them. Okay. So I'm going to go back up here and close the folder so it won't take up so much room. And that's where you do that. If you want to print them out ahead of time so you can take notes on them, whatever you choose to do, be fine. Now here's your YouTube videos. All right. This is a link. That's what that symbol stands for. All you have to do is click on it and it goes straight to it. There's no three dots to open. It goes straight to YouTube. Now, whoa, where'd all these classes come from? These videos came from? They came from the last time I taught the course, which was last fall. Why haven't I cleared them out? Well, just like tonight, I wasn't sure we could even record, but we could. I realized that. But, you know, there's been some times when Screencast-O-Matic doesn't work. Sometimes when the server doesn't work. I won't be able to record those. So I leave the ones in there from last term so that you can catch up to anything that I couldn't record for this time. They don't fit exactly, but they're pretty close. Okay? And so you see, they're kind of in reverse order. Here was the syllabus for last time. Here's the key, folks. Always this term is going to be at the bottom. Okay? And that was the last class that I recorded last time. And I just happened to notice, oh, I know what happened. The reason there's some 19 in here, I didn't cover those sections last time because they weren't necessary. I didn't realize that. 2 times ago, I taught more than I needed to. But anyway, so they'll always be there. When I do tonight's one, I will take this one off. I'll send it to trash. So, well, you can't do it from this one. But that's what I'll do on that. All right. And again, it's going to take me until sometime tomorrow, maybe even late tomorrow before I'll be able to set this up. But I'll do it as soon as I can. All right. That's it. Any questions about Blackboard? It looks different this year, but it's basically the same stuff. It's a pretty simple course on Blackboard. Any questions? All right. Then I'm going to close Blackboard. I'm not going to teach from the PowerPoints on Blackboard. That is tedious, but I will do them from here. I've already got this one loaded. And if there are no questions, whoa, we only got about 15, 20 minutes to go, so let's do what I can. Now, I did get everybody. Where is my roll sheet? Oh, here it is, I think. Yeah. Nobody came in since I called roll. You've all heard me call your name. Okay. Because federal financial aid depends on it. I'm going to mark only those people that I've got present. Okay. Now, let's start from current slide. Let's start from current slide. There we go. All right. We're in Chapter 5, Forces. Now, obviously, we haven't done Chapters 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Okay? If you want to take the time to go back and review 1 through 4 and see if there's any questions you have, we don't have time to do it in class, but I will answer anything you've got. Okay? And this is Chapter 5, Forces. Now, this is going to illustrate how terrible the PowerPoints are. The chapter starts on page 123. The first slide is on 124, so it's not too far off. But there's not too much room for I think I will use the space I've got just to keep from having to go back and forth. Now, how this chapter begins? As discussed in the previous chapter. That's not very helpful, is it? So you might want to go back and take a look at the previous chapter, see if you understand that. I will try to fill in the gaps that you need. Okay? Let's start with what do we mean by a force? Okay? A force. A force is any push or pull. Okay, that guy looks like he's pushing pretty hard, doesn't it? Okay? Ripped his pants and everything. No, he's pushing pretty hard. Now, the force that he's pushing, that's represented by that arrow. The reason he's having to push hard, there's some other force involved. And that force is the force due to friction. Okay? The friction between the gravel down here and the box or whatever he's pushing there. That's the retarding force. I can push on this table. I'm not able to push it because it's jammed up against the wall. I'm being opposed by another force. However, I can pull on the table and I can move it. What I was retarding it, my motion, the fact that it's friction between the feet and the floor. So, a force is a push or a pull. Okay? This guy is illustrating a push, and he's encountering resistance. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay? Forces tend to change the motion of an object. When I pull on it, I make the table go from sitting still to moving. So forces tend to change the motion of an object. All right. That leaves me to want to give you a little bit about motion. Okay, that's from an earlier chapter, but I think to make this make sense, you need to understand motion. Okay. Now, most of you say, yeah, I understand movement. And yeah, I'm sure you do. Several things are involved with motion. First, there has to be a displacement. I'm here, I wound up there, there's the distance I moved. So that could be distance or displacement. Now, they sound like the same words. They are very similar in concept. Here's the only little difference. Distance is how far I move. Just how far. That would be feet, inches, miles, yards, furlongs, whatever. Okay? Meters, centimeters, millimeters, whatever. How far you move. The difference between distance and displacement would be 3 feet to the, I don't even know what direction that is, west. Okay? 3 feet to the west. When you have a direction with it, that's a displacement. If you don't care about the direction, that's just distance. Okay? So, you have a displacement or a distance traveled. Now, for me to get from here to here, it took a certain amount of time. Maybe 2.5 seconds or something like that. But it took time. It's not beam me up, Scotty, and you're there immediately. It always takes some time. So time is involved. Now, something they do in physics over and over and over again is once you have a quantity that you found is useful, then what they do is, well, let's take the time rate of change of that. In other words, divide the distance by the time, and guess what you get? Distance divided by time. Speed, exactly. Now, speed is another one of those scalar quantities that just has a number associated with it. There's another word that we usually use interchangeably with speed, velocity. Velocity connotes also direction. Speed is just how fast you're going. Velocity is how fast you're going in what direction. Okay? So those two. Distance divided by time, that's speed. Displacement divided by time, that's velocity. All right. Well, what if you want to change your velocity? How do you do that in your car? Say again? Yes, to press the gas. What do we call that pedal? What do you call that pedal? Accelerator, exactly. You're accelerating. A change of velocity, time rate of change of velocity is acceleration. So you divide velocity by time, you get acceleration. Now, what would be typical units for velocity? Typical units for displacement would be feet, meters, miles, kilometers, furlongs, whatever. Okay? Time is usually seconds or hours or something like that. Okay? So a speed or a velocity would be miles per hour, feet per second, meters per second, kilometers per hour, anything, furlongs per fortnight. Okay, whatever, distance divided by time. Okay? So that's velocity or speed or speed, distance divided by time. Divide velocity by time, and you get a time rate of change of velocity is an acceleration. The accelerator, right? That would be feet per second, miles per hour per second. Yeah, whatever. Distance per time per time. Most of the time we call that meters per second squared, okay? Or something like that, feet per second squared. That would be an acceleration. Now, what is a force? Okay? Right now I'm going to deal with the units of force first, and then we'll talk about really what it is. The unit for force, now we have two big systems of measurement. One of these is called SI. What does that stand for? System International. What do you mean by that? Why don't you say international system? Well, because the French say things backwards, okay? That's basically it. They usually put the noun first and the adjective second. We usually do the adjective first and the noun second. So this is Système International or something like that. That's often called the metric system, okay? Then we have, and there's various names for this one. We used to call it the British system. Now some people call it the U.S. customary system. Okay, that would be our miles per hour, feet per second, those kind of measurements. The SI units measure in terms of meters, and then you have smaller things like centimeters. Smaller than that would be millimeters, micrometers, nanometers, and on down. Or you can have bigger things than that, like kilometers or kilometers, megameters, okay, and go on bigger and bigger and bigger, okay? So those are the units for, okay, in the British or U.S. customary system, that could be feet, inches, and then fractions of inches. You could have yards, you could have miles, and go on and on and on, okay? So those are the U.S. customary units. The reason they don't say British anymore, though some people do, is officially Britain is on the metric system. We are the only industrialized nation on the earth that still uses feet, inches, and pounds and those kinds of things. Nobody else uses that except people who trade with us, and they prefer not to, okay? There are a few countries that are such close trading partners, they use our system. But mostly, they don't. They use SI units. So if you go to Canada, you'll see temperature in Celsius. You won't see it in Fahrenheit. If you go to Mexico, you'll see markers in kilometers, not miles. Okay? Always things are done just about everywhere in the world on the SI system. Okay. Now, so on the SI system, a force in the SI system is a Newton, named after Sir Isaac Newton, okay? And anything that's named after somebody, usually the symbol is capitalized. That's why it's a capital N. Whereas in the U.S. customary system, the unit for force is the pound. Now, it's spelled P-O-U-N-D, but its abbreviation is L-B. Where that came from, I don't know, okay? But that's the U.S. customary unit of force. A pound versus a Newton. The N is for Newton. N-E-W-T-O-N. usually when you write it with a small n, even though that was his name, but when you abbreviate it, you use a capital N, a Newton. Okay. Now, Sir Isaac Newton, and I think I'm going to have to go to a different slide here. So let me get out of this and go to this one. Okay. Many years ago, people talked in terms of things, but they weren't really well defined. When Sir Isaac Newton came along, he changed everything. He came up with laws for physics no one had ever thought of. He came up with a brand new class of mathematics, calculus, no one had ever heard of before. He came up with understandings of gravity no one had ever conceived before. He came up with, just tons of things. And one of the things he did was his laws of motion, Newton's 3 laws of motion. The first of these laws, oops, I have to go back to my black, okay. The Newton's first law of motion. He has 3 major laws of motion. First law of motion. Okay. Now it has a sort of a nickname or a subtitle, and it's called the law of inertia. Okay, let me get an idea. What does inertia mean to you? Anybody? Inertia. What's the first 5 letters in that word inertia? What do they spell? Inert, okay? What does that mean? Not reacting, not doing anything, sitting there, doing nothing, okay? Couch potato. No, we won't go that far. Okay, so, but that's not exactly what inertia means, but it comes close. The inertia is the tendency of an object not to change its motion. So if that object is at rest, like that table is, you have to do something to make it move. You pull on it, you push on it, you kick it, you do something to make it move because it wants to remain right what it's doing. Now, if I had a bowling ball and I rolled it down the floor here, if one of you says, well, I don't like it rolling by me, so you went out to move it, you would have to change its inertia. It wants to keep going in a straight line, constant speed. That's also inertia. It's not just that it's sitting still, but in a constant state of motion. So, Newton's first law, now actually Newton didn't come up with this one. This one, the guy who was ahead of Newton was a guy named Galileo. He was from Italy. Pisa, Italy, by the way, P-I-S-A, where the Leaning Tower is, that one. He came up with, and he was really the first guy to really question and say, we got to do better than this. Because before him, there had been these 3 great, many more, but especially 3 great Greek thinkers. There was Socrates, Aristotle, and Plato. Aristotle was more of the scientific one, and when he said something, people say, yes, Aristotle said it, we believe it. Galileo came along about 2,000 years later and said, this ain't right. Okay, boy, he got into trouble, but he was absolutely right. Not all of Aristotle's ideas were right. So he came up with the first law of inertia. Now, what Newton did, he read about that and stuff, and then he perfected it. He added to it and made it a little bit more appropriate. And then he added his other 2 laws with that. Galileo had only done the one. But here is Newton's first law of motion, the law of inertia. I'm going to write it just the way the book has, because I see most of you don't have your books yet. A body, now that doesn't have to be a person's body, it's anything, this platform, whatever. A body that is in motion and by the way, my writing stinks, okay? And have you ever signed out with the ionizing pens at Home Depot or somewhere? Did that look at all like your signature? Okay, mine neither. This is a little bit better than those, but it's still pretty poor. And I'm bad. I write too fast. Okay. A body that is in motion with the same, wait, that's not right, continues in motion with the same velocity, I abbreviate like crazy too, okay, again, we're using velocity rather than speed. The same velocity. Now, what that means is velocity, constant speed, in the same direction. Obviously, somebody else is in the building now. I think it's the EMS folks come in sometime, okay? With the same velocity, it's constant speed, straight line, same direction. And a body at rest continues at rest unless an unbalanced or outside force acts on it. Okay, unbalanced force can also be an outside force. Acts on it. Boy, that writing stinks, doesn't it? Okay, so that's what we're talking about. This thing is not going to move unless I exert a force to make it move. Or that bowling ball rolling down the floor is going to keep rolling in a straight line down the floor at a constant speed unless you kick your foot with it and make it move. You have to have some type of an unbalanced or outside force to act on it to change an object's motion. That's Newton's first law of motion, and that's called the law of inertia. And sadly, it's happened. We have just spent our first class. Sorry I took so long trying to get police here and that kind of stuff, but we'll pick up. We didn't get enough done to have any homework exercises, so we'll pick up on next Wednesday, and we will get some problems by then. Any questions? Good deal. Looks like it's going to be a great class. By the way, this is the largest physics class for this program that I've had yet. Good to see you.